X-Men Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. I did not see it. I loved Days of Future Past. I thought it was a great film.
It one of the best X-Men films, perhaps. Yeah. Well, we saw it, and we liked it maybe more than the average person.
I think it already started with a leg up because it has what I think is a great cast from Days of Future Past and First Class, and it's got a good energy. I felt like it had a similar energy to those films.
We revisited a few Apocalypse episodes of the animated series as big fans of the animated series, and it's got a similar energy. It's
it's a bit of a ridiculous character to get behind. So if you're gonna go there,
how does Oscar Isaac do as I like him as an actor.
He's trying something there.
Everything they built will fall.
More bold choices.
More bold choices.
He's trying to do something kind of fun, but I mean, ultimately, I think one of the weaknesses of the character is that I don't think I've really heard many people say this before. They were just like, oh, he looks like Ivan Ooze or whatever. I think one of the big weaknesses is that they didn't make him have a growing ability. I think that would have been something new that I hadn't seen in X-Men before, is a guy can just become giant and start fucking squashing you.
That's true.
They didn't do that, and they made it look like he could do that in the trailer, but it turned out it was a dream sequence.
It's also hard to imagine that someone so powerful needs these other mutants that he enlists to help him out.
If it came out, you know, maybe 3 or 4 X-Men movies ago, I think it would have been critically acclaimed. The problem with it, the problem a lot of people had was, the continuity is getting confusing.
Oh, the time traveling stuff.
Yeah, like there's Weapon X in it, and you're kind of like, well, that still happened even after the time thing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of a reintroduction of the Phoenix because the Phoenix is still a thing because you're being
Sansa Stark, right?
Yeah, it's Sansa Stark. Your show. And she's fine. She's Sansa Stark in it. And then they give Magneto like a whole bunch of weight. They give him like a big weighty story, and it's kind of like, it just feels like he already got his time in the spotlight, and we're just kind of doing him again.
Yeah, you feel like you backtrack a little bit, and then.
But and yet it's actually a really good Magneto story until he becomes one of the 4 horsemen. So a lot of the plot is that you know, for whatever stupid reason, Apocalypse always recruits 4 horsemen, and they should have been under mind control or something.
Yeah.
Because for some reason Storm is A-okay with like taking over the world with Apocalypse, and then when it doesn't work out, she's like, you know, I see the folly of my ways now. I think I'd like to be an X-Men. Yeah, and it's like, I think maybe they try to set it up by being like she was you know, like a street kid, and she might not have morals.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to not have morals, and it's another to be like, let's wipe out civilization.
You know what? That sounds like a good idea.
There's a wonderful Quicksilver sequence, similar to the one in Days of Future Past, but much more deluxe.
Yeah.
Where the spoilers, the manor house explodes, and he's like, as it's exploding, he's getting people out of the house.
Is it worth the price of admission for just that scene?
It is. And look, it's a Saturday morning experience for X-Men. If you like X-Men, it's not really a lot of reason to dislike this movie. You know, and that's another thing people don't like, is that, you know, at a certain point, Jennifer Lawrence is kind of getting a big push as a lead. You know, she's kind of like, Mystique is like downright the protagonist in it.
At Days of Future Past, it didn't feel like they were pushing her as much.
Yeah.
But I think she was still a big star then.
I mean, you could argue that like it's kind of cool to watch this, you know, this once henchman baddie turn into this cool X-Men protagonist.
But does it feel like it's like, oh, we have Jennifer Lawrence, let's push her up?
Yeah, she doesn't spend quite as much time in the makeup.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's
like, fuck that makeup, I'm not wearing it.
Yeah.
But there was that whole controversy with the Sony hacks where all of her stuff saying that she got paid less than, she was in that whole thing for American Hustle saying that she got paid less, so maybe it's a little bit more trying to feature the females in this.
Yeah.
Although we know they had that big controversy where a bad guy is choking a good guy in a poster, and it's a problem because one's a man and one's a woman. But one's a monster and one's a...
But sometimes people fight in the world.
Yeah, but EJ, they would never have a guy choking another guy. Oh yeah, I think they would. Right. The only sexist thing I can glean from it is that it's the purpose of the image is meant to make you go, oh my God, that woman's in trouble, and want her to not be in trouble anymore.
Maybe.
And whereas a guy, it might be like, yeah, they're just fighting, but a girl is a damsel, I suppose. But on the other hand, it's kind of going like let's help women, let's save women. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an effective image. Yeah. Right. So I don't really know what we're talking about at a certain point. I think that this might be. I could be wrong, but I think Fox might want to think about totally like being done with the Bryan Singer X-Men movies now.
I think so. I think you should either get some fresh blood in there, get Bryan Singer out of there. We need something new. We need.
As much as I enjoyed it, it really they probably should have called Days of Future Past the finale.
Yeah.
Of that whole thing, that whole 19-year effort or whatever, however long
I
it's
think it
been.
ends well. You know, you have
Yeah.
Wolverine waking up and he's like, oh, everything's good.
The end of this movie is not the end of that story.
Yeah.
It's actually, it teases a Mr. Sinister story.
Okay.
And so they want to go now do Mr. Sinister with this new cast. And it's like, I think your soft reboot didn't really launch the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, it had one foot in the old Bryan Singer past.
Yeah.
And another foot in the new Bryan Singer future.
It's very, at a certain point, the promotional people must be driven crazy because they're like, I don't know how to explain to the audience anymore where we are.